How's it going, everybody? It's me, Shane, and I'm here to give you a Netflix movie review. Today's movie is called The Adam Project. You probably heard of it. It's starring some pretty little known actors: Ryan Reynolds, Mark Ruffalo, Zoe Saldana, Jennifer Gardner. Those little guys, right? Um, Also, as the young version of Adam, there is Walter Schobel, and featuring Catherine Kiever. Who is Catherine Kiever? She was the love interest in 40-year-old Virgin. She was also the mom in Get Out. So yeah, she knows how to play lovable and despicable. So before I go any further, please do not forget to give me a like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell to be notified of more videos just like this, and don't forget to share the video. Trying to get to 200 subscribers, so we can get there, guys. Anyway, yeah, the premise of this movie is in the year 2050. A young man named Adam Reeves, played by Ryan Reynolds, he steals a plane, commandeers a plane that apparently has his biosignature on it, but this plane is able to go into the future. Time travel is real. And so he's trying to go back to 2018, but ends up landing in 2022, meeting his 13-year-old self. And then things ensue. Now I have a bunch of notes here, and you know what? Generally, when I review movies, I typically do the review right after. But I had a feeling. When you have a feeling you're going to be busy and some stuff's going to come up. I ended up watching this movie, I want to say, night before last. I want to say Thursday and the Friday I might have watched it. Really, really, it's a good movie. It's an hour and 46 minutes long. Um, so Netflix movie. The one thing I have to say about Netflix movies, they are so interesting because they're not super high production, but they're not low production. They're like a nice little sweet spot where you can tell they put money in this, but it's not all the money. And plus, they have to pay these people. Now, part of the notes I do have here, I'm mostly going through each of the characters, but I'll talk about the setting. First of all, it's magnificent that this is a legitimate modern setting. It's kind of believable. They take an interesting approach to time travel. We're trying to explain it with magnetic waves and opening up wormholes, and needing planes, to do it. It's pretty interesting. One of the funny twists, by the way, spoilers, right? One of the funny twists about this is that the timeline has already been altered. So we're not in a situation where they're going back to alter it. It's already been altered, so they're just going back to fix it. And they're really big sticklers on the rules in here. Like, you can't interfere with too many things. You can't tell too much information because it could ruin everything. But at its core, it's a very personal movie about dealing with loss, trauma, how you treat people, regret, and mistakes that you have. And it's also about having to do what you got to do. It's pretty rough. Now, one thing I did right back here that I really want to touch on real quick. This movie is very self-aware and how funny, like it's super self-aware. Like, young Adam does the superhero landing from Deadpool. He even says it. He's a very good, I don't want to say folly, but very good actor in terms of, yeah, this kid's blonde and Ryan Reynolds is brown hair, but he does such a good job of making you believe, like, yeah, this is little kid Ryan Reynolds, this is little kid Adam. Which the trailer for this movie fooled me because I was like, oh, maybe Ryan Reynolds is gonna take a bit of a serious approach. It's not that he takes a serious approach. It's that, how do I express this correctly without forgetting my original point? Okay, so people, and I even said this when it came to that heist movie he had with Gal Gadot and Dwayne Johnson, Red Notice. He's very much an actor that does a thing, and he does the thing very well. Snarky guy, lovable guy, funny guy, tells tons of pop culture references that you will eventually get. He'll hit your decade, and he'll hit it well, right? But in this, it's not so much as just Ryan Reynolds being Ryan Reynolds. It's more so of Ryan Reynolds being able to be that funny guy, but at the same time, you see the sadness underlaced, like laced underneath all of that. And this movie is very self aware because there's the game that he's playing. I even wrote in my notes that, oh yeah, he's playing very fake simulator flying game. His dad made that game. Um, there's even a part where, yeah, what else is the self aware? There's another self aware part where, the kid wants to know if Ryan Reynolds, if his older self gets laid in the future. And I say Ryan Reynolds because that's just how I'm thinking of it right now, in terms of identifying who is who. Because in my notes, it's like young Adam, old Adam. I never forgot that, especially because they steal the show completely. It is rather difficult when I'm trying to remember the mom's name, played by Jennifer Garner, or dad's name, Mark Ruffalo. Those we haven't seen those two together since 13 going on 30. Um, Also playing a couple in that movie as well. They have such good chemistry. I wish we had more movies with those two in them, honestly. Um, and it's just the interactions. The movie doesn't take itself too serious, but it is so grounded. Like the movie has rules, and I told you about the time rules. It has rules that even the villain's past self even knows these rules, and you have to stick by these things. And it's one of the things that this movie tries to say is things are the way they are. You don't have a lot of time on Earth. You need to just enjoy it while you have it. Because there's a Roman quote about, you know enjoy your time because it's later than you think. And it tells a really good story, especially with I think her name's Sorian. Uh, it tells a good story. Like she didn't start off like this. All she had was her work. She doesn't have family. She doesn't have a love life. She doesn't have anything. She just has her work. And in the future, when the government tries to come in and take all the work, because obviously you come up with time control, time travel. Obviously, they're gonna come in for that. And her older self wasn't having it. Her older self is willing to kill people. Even tries to kill older Adam's wife, which she does end up killing her. We don't see it on screen, but it's very much implied that she got murdered. Um, I'm gonna go over the other parts of trauma, but it's interesting how this movie also deals with when all you have is your work. That can go very badly because even Adam's dad, Lewis, even Lewis, when he has this conversation with his wife in 2018, after he met his boys at 13 and at 44, I believe, 43, he asked Jennifer Gardner, do I not spend enough time with him? And she's like, when you're here, you are here. You're 100%. But when you're not here, you're not. And, you don't have to be perfect. We're just asking you just to be here, and you're here. And it's a great lesson to say you're not going to be perfect, but do what you can. So, setting's great. Music it's that's that Netflix budget, man. They have My Love Open the Door. I forget who sings that. You guys know the song. That's their dad's favorite song. You even have the Boston song "Long Time." I know that song off the top of my head because I bought that first album. There's one other high end song in here. I don't know if it's "Blinded by the Light," but there's another one in here, right? So let's talk about characters. We'll start with the guy in charge here, right? Oh, one thing I need to mention: the director, Sean Levy. He also directed Free Guy, which I will be doing a review of that this weekend as well. And he also is going to be directing Deadpool 3. I'm pretty sure Deadpool 3 is going to be PG-13, which is nothing wrong with that. But I can I think he can hit all the notes that need to be hit based on this movie alone. I look forward to watching Free Guy this weekend just so I can confirm this. But yeah, just a little fun fact there. So older Adam, as Adam gets older, and you know what, I can kind of tell old Adam and young Adam together, right? He's so mean to his mom, and you pick up on it. And I love stories like this. As a matter of fact, the anime review, my Yashihime review, I was complaining about seeing characters like they flip a switch and you can't really tell why they have their motivations. The motivations are clear in here, and I love the fact that characters call each other out on it. Adam calls out his older self. His younger self gets called out by his older self. Um, Mom gets softly called out by older Adam, and she knows it's him. And even Lewis gets called out by older Adam, and older Adam gets called out by Lewis in 2018. It's great. It's great. I like the characters. These characters love each other and care about each other enough that they're not gonna lie to each other and they're not gonna sugarcoat it. And old Adam has 2050 Adam has gone through some stuff. He's been arrested before. High school, he was bullied because he was short and he had a mouth on him he didn't like, and he stood up for himself. And after their father died, I'm assuming their father died in 2021 because it says a year before that. That's all that happened. As a matter of fact, he ends up going into the Air Force to learn how to fly these time traveling planes, and that's where he ends up meeting his wife, who was played by Zoe Saldana. Her name is Laura, and this is the basis of it. Laura, the last time they told him that Laura had a re-entry problem and the plane exploded. He knows that's a lie. He remembers the signal from 2018, so he's trying to go to 2018 to find her, but while he was already shot, and we see this at the beginning of the movie. We don't see him get shot, but we see that he was shot by his in movie rival, random guy who I don't remember your name. Um, that's his motivation. Find his wife, tells his younger self to stop being a little shit to his mom because the younger self, the 2022 version of Adam, he thinks his mom has it all put together, and he says really snarky stuff, and he's not making it easy because he doesn't think she's actually grieving. He thinks she's moved on. She's actually gone on several dates too, which he was been mean to this guy, and to the point where towards the end of this movie, 2050 Adam tells him, "When you see mom, just give her a hug for me and be nicer to her." Which I fully believe that the Adams remember the time stream because he does this. As a matter of fact, he's not suspended in that timeline because I guess he laid off of his mom a bit and he's gonna go to school, but he gives her a tight hug because he remembers that moment. And 2050 Adam, of course, he remembered his wife. She still ends up going to the wrong class, and he says, "Yeah, but I found you." And she doesn't react weirdly to it. So you get the feeling that ripples in time can be felt by people, and they can kind of feel that this is right. Which is interesting that that is the third timeline because in 2018 it was Sorian. She took her plane, she took the time plane, went back in time to tell her younger self to get offshore accounts, do a political dealing, so then she can be in power. And according to 2050 Adam, when he's talking to his younger self, he said, "Remember Terminator? It's like that on a good day." So I guess Sorian has just ruined the future. Now Lewis, played by Mark Ruffalo, super. We man, it's interesting when you see Mark Ruffalo in the Marvel movies playing scientist Bruce Banner. You get the man. This guy's really smart, but he's for sure smart, and he's not quirky, weird smart. He's like, yeah, this is the science. We gotta be cautious about it, but I think this could work. And here, he's a scientist that he loves science so much that it radiates off of him, and everything he talks about is science. He makes this magnetic. I'm gonna be honest. The thing he made looks like the arc reactor from the first Iron Man movie. There's tons of Marvel, just tons of references in here. Even the weapon that he uses, young Adam to old Adam says, "Yeah, dude, that's a lightsaber," which it pretty much is a knockoff lightsaber for this movie. Um, but Lewis, he loves his son so much that, and younger Adam had to remind older Adam about this. There is a picture, a sit down picture thing, so you can just throw it and it comes back. And 2050 Adam thinks, well, he got that so he went to play catch with. He's like, no, he got that because every time we walk past that, we begged him for it. Dad comes home every day tired and still plays catch with us. See, you forgot these things because I never stopped missing him. And I'm going to guess that you never stopped missing him either, to the point where you figure it's a lot easier to be sad than it is to be, I mean, a lot easier to be angry than it is to be sad. And that's really, oh, man, that's so, no, I was going to say so sad. You don't want to, it's It's heartbreaking because you see it on Ryan Reynolds' face. The acting in this movie is way better than it has any right to be. They could have phoned it in and it could have been cheesy. The chemistry between all the actors and their characters are fantastic as well. It's too bad that Laura doesn't meet Ellie, doesn't meet their mom. I really wish there could have been a scene with that, but yeah, well, just the interactions are great. And funny thing is, young Adam is super smart. Like when he get older, yeah, he was able to fight and he got muscles. Apparently, he says he skips leg day, but he's not as smart as his younger self. He's not as full of hope as his younger self is. And then to the point where he's pretty mean to he was trying, and that's another lesson the movie tries to teach you. He was trying to run away from whom he was, his 2022 self, because that's the part that he hated. He hated being that young weak kid who always got beat up. He even let himself get beat up by his bully. To and it gets back at him because he finds the picture of Laura and makes him tell him who she is. But excuse me, but he's so mean to himself that he lets himself get beaten up. And not Lewis, and 2022 Adam just doesn't listen. He even told him how to beat him, and he didn't do it. But he does get him back when dude gets surrounded by knockoff stormtroopers, and he has to save his older self with the drone. Really, really funny. Um, where am I at here? The tech in this movie is really good too. Like the drone is believable to be a 2050 drone with the eyes and the hand thing. The plane, it looks like a stealth fighter that can just go through future. And actually, the uh, the way time works in this movie is like Back to the Future, where if you go back to a fixed point in time and change things, it'll ripple and you have splinters and everything else. To the fact that Christopher Lloyd, Doc Brown himself, was in the commercials for this movie. Fantastic, very fantastic. Um, where am I at here? But yeah, Lewis loves his son, and the best moment, I'm gonna skip to one of my best moments. Best moment is 2050 Ryan doesn't want 2022 Ryan to tell their dad that he's gonna die. And after everything they've been through, they survived the giant explosion at the end of the movie. Really good chase scene in this movie too, by the way. One of the better ones when you see a car and a plane. It's a really good chase scene. Um, After everything they've been through, he says, "Dad, we got something to tell you." He's like, "Don't tell me. I already knew the moment you came and visited me at my lecture. I can tell. I was able to tell I was gonna die just by how you guys were looking at me. But don't tell me when. Don't tell me how. Things have to happen how they happen. That's just how the whole time traveling thing works. And that is crazy. That's crazy because Adam is surrounded by these people who will do the right thing regardless. Even his mom is so great because she comes in and while she's mad at him for getting suspended again and fighting, she defends him and says, "All you teachers, you're gonna suspend the kid that got beaten up. But what are you doing with the other kid? Why is my son getting suspended?" And he obviously lost the fight. Pardon me. And she obviously cares. Excuse me. And she's a very strong woman. His wife, also a very strong woman, to the point where she spent 4 years by herself from 2018 to 2022, always watching over his younger Adam because yeah, she loves him. She's always gonna watch over him regardless. And another funny moment, I'm gonna get to that in a second. And she tells him, "You gotta do the right thing. You have to go back and you have to change everything correctly. You have to stop time travel from happening because this is what she rules everything because she cheats." And he's like, "I'm never going to meet you then because how we met was in that program." And he doesn't want to give up the best thing that's ever happened to him in his life. And she tells him he has to. She more or less forces him. He knows he has no choice, which is leads to a great goddamn it moment where he's like hitting the steering wheel. Again, the motion that these guys are able to do some really good crying on command. This is really good acting in this movie. It's an Netflix movie, right? Really good acting. Really, this is one of those movies where uh, you feel that a sequel could ruin it. But I really want this to connect with Project Power. right? Atom Project and Project Power. Ooh, ooh. I wish this was in the same universe. That would be great. Anyway, um, we have a great moment, and this is the part with Lewis again. I'm sorry, jumping around, but he tells 2050 Adam, "I love you. I always will love you. I always have loved you, and I'm always proud of you, no matter what." To the point where older Adam's kind of being macho, and they're like, "No, I get it, Dad. You don't have to keep saying it," and he keeps saying it, and he grabs his son by the face, and you get that immediate response of him crying, like this is what he needed to hear. He needed to remember he had a good relationship with his father. It's just the trauma of losing someone that you deeply care about and they deeply care about you is immeasurable. To sometimes you twist your memory to try to get through that. Excuse me. Also, his wife will not lie to him. She says, "I will tell." Like the when you're there, you're there. She's such great stuff. There is a scene in the bar where Ellie gets off of work. 2050 Adam is there, and he's just there talking to him, and she thinks that her son hates him. He's like, no, he doesn't hate you. It's just you need to show him that you're grieving too, and he would never hate you. And um, he says your son loves you more than you ever will know, because that's the thing young Adam says. He says, "I love you too more than I ever know." She knows it's him, and that's the great thing. This movie is self-aware to the point the characters aren't dumb. They're like, I know that's my future son. Even Lewis in 2018, he looked at 2050 Adam and was like, "Yeah, you're Adam. I know who you are. Time travel's real. It happened." It's nice to have competent characters, and the story can still be driven forward. I already mentioned about younger Saurian not being bad like future Saurian. She hasn't gotten to that point. But it's funny because she has armor piercing rounds that she can shoot through Lewis and still kill, his sons. Because she was gonna kill 2022 Adam to try to kill older Adam, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't know if I'm still gonna give up this drive." Which it's great that he trusts himself at this point in the movie, because yeah, that could have gone south. But she ends up shooting around at him. Mind you, everybody, the containment field for the giant electromagnetic thing has been broken, and anything that's metal has been sucked into it and sucked into the reactor, and bad guys have died. By the way, when you die outside of your main timeline, you splinter into atoms and dust and particles. Whew, what a way to go. Can't even be buried. You just cease to exist. But she shoots this bullet. This bullet goes, and then it turns, and she essentially wipes herself on timeline because she kills her younger self because she's that dumb. 2050 Adams like, how did you know that was going to happen? Well, armor piercing bullets have a steel core. Come on, guys, being a nerd pays, right? Good movie. Um, the only plot hole I can see, one of the plot holes I can see, was the plane had Adam's signature. Because in the future, everything is just built to your own DNA. Funny part is the plane wouldn't let him fly it because it could tell he was hurt. So he had to have his younger self turn on everything. Um, it's weird that the plane had his DNA, but they never explained it. They never said, "Oh, Lewis was making stuff, and he knew that these planes would be in the future, so he had a prototype with his sons on it." Or I'm just going to assume that when he started flying for Saurian or for whatever military force there was, they latched his plane onto himself. That's kind of where I'm drawing the conclusion from. It was never explained how he got it. That's how I'm explaining it. That's how I think it works out that way. Um, I guess movie 4 out of 5. It's not the best movie in the world, but it certainly isn't horrible. It was an enjoyable hour and 45 minutes, 46 minutes. Really enjoyable movie. I can't really think of anything else different I would do about it. Um, just being sticklers for how time needs to go. It's just even though their dad still dies. It's really nice that they mended the relationship with their mom. 2050 Adam felt the love from his dad that he had forgotten, and he still got to be with his wife. Good movie, good ending. Didn't hint at no sequel or anything like that. I do think Netflix needs to start their own interconnected universe since everybody else is doing it, and have Project Adam and Project Power merge those two things together. I need that to happen. So you heard it from me. 4 to 5 on Project Adam, which by the by they never do touch on it. That Lewis named the project after his son. He called Project Adam after Adam. And of course, his older self thought, oh, he just named it because he loved it more. Maybe I came second. No, just I really wish that was a thing they had mentioned in the movie. If they did and I missed it, let me know in the comment section down below. As always, don't forget to hit that like button. It helps me out tremendously. Subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified of more videos like this, and don't forget to share the video. As always, I thank you all for taking some time out to spend some time with me right here. Please be good, be blessed, wash your hands, wear a mask. Be safe out there, you all. Be good to yourself, be good to others. Either way it goes, don't be a jerk, and I will most definitely see you guys next time.